Financial abuse involves controlling a victim's ability to acquire, use, and maintain financial resources. One of the ways narcissists abuse their victims is through financial abuse. Those who are victimized financially may be prevented from working. They may also have their own money restricted or stolen by their abuser. And very rarely, even if they're married, are they going to have complete access to money and other resources. When they do have money, very often they have to account for every penny they spend. The end goal on this is always the same: to gain or maintain power and control in the relationship. Financial abuse is one of the most powerful methods of keeping a victim trapped in an abusive relationship. Financial insecurity is one of the top reasons a person stays with their abuser, and also a reason many return to their abuser. Financial abuse can be the abuser keeping money from the victim or the abuser taking money from the victim. So in cases where the abuser is the one who's controlling the purse strings, some examples of financial abuse can include controlling your access to money, making you have to ask for money, even if you're married, possibly demanding you turn over your paycheck to them, having a double standard when it comes to spending money. They can purchase whatever they like, but you're criticized for your spending. They may pressure you to quit your job or create insecurity in your job by harassing you at work with their frequent calls, text messages, or just stopping by unexpectedly. Maybe they don't involve you in the final decisions that they make, but they're going to expect you to ask permission for any financial decisions you make. They may threaten to cut you off financially. At the end of a relationship, they could drag out or delay legal matters as an attempt to cripple you financially. Or how about this one? Refusing to turn over your stimulus check. Boy, is this a big thing. I've been seeing this all over the place. This is happening to a lot of people right now. And not only is this illegal, it is absolutely financial abuse. So for those who've left the narcissist, this is one of the ways that they will continue to abuse you even after the relationship ends. They've lost control, and this is a way they can still feel they can exert some power, and control over that victim, over you. My ex-husband has done this with the last 2 stimulus checks. As you know, when you have that direct deposit set up for your taxes, that's the account that the stimulus check is going to go to. My attorney had to demand the stimulus check that we received a few months ago, and he had to reach out and send a demand for that stimulus payment. Now, on this last stimulus payment, my attorney literally had to reach out 3 times before my ex finally turned it over. And he did this to run up my attorney fees, of course. And he did it to just be the jerk that he is, and this is his sense of entitlement. He feels like he shouldn't even have to turn it over. And here's another example of projection by a narcissist. My ex-narc has called me a thief publicly more than once. Okay, but who is holding on to what was rightfully mine? And if I didn't already have an attorney, I still wouldn't have my stimulus checks. Plain and simple. Now, these are the kind of things that the narcs enablers, the little flying monkeys, more than likely, they know nothing about this. This is the abuse that they hide. Of course, New Supply knows, and New Supply justifies that behavior. Now, what about tax refunds? My ex felt entitled to every refund check. And since at the time we were married, I trusted him, I never even asked for any portion of the tax refund. Not until we divorced, and his attorney wrote up the agreement stating that that year's tax refund was to be divided between the both of us. Now, even though his side, his attorney, wrote up this agreement, he signed this agreement, my attorney still had to make 2 separate demands for my half before my ex finally turned it over to me. Now, during our marriage, I very rarely asked my husband for money, very rarely, because I hated to ask him for money. I actually hate to ask anybody for money. So I worked to have money on my own. Now, during a time that I wasn't working, I asked him for $500, to which he said, I don't have $500. Yeah, right. Okay. 2 weeks later, he bought a snowblower that cost well over $500. You see, there was always plenty of money for whatever he wanted, but if I asked, the well was dry. Now, in the beginning, during the love bombing stage, he was extremely generous with money. He was extremely generous in general. He just gave me money without me even asking, up until we got married. Now, once that happened, he complained about any money that he did give me, or he would just simply refuse. I completely trusted him in the beginning. He did have plenty of money. So he told me, don't worry about working. I didn't need to work, and he would take care of the finances. Hey, this seemed really normal to me because I grew up in a family where my dad was the breadwinner, my mom stayed home, she took care of the house, and my brother and I. Me trusting that I could depend on him for my financial needs was a huge mistake. Because see, I made taking care of him and taking care of our home my priority. My career plans were no longer a priority. They got put on the back burner, and that was fine. I was taking care of him, and I felt like, and he's taking care of me. It seemed okay. Of course, this is what kept me financially trapped in the relationship. I had almost no money of my own, and that made it very difficult to leave. Had I not had the initial support of friends and family, my choices were stay with my abuser or be homeless. And of course, every argument involved my husband threatening to throw me out of the house. After these arguments, I would attempt to form a truce with him, to make an agreement to just not threaten the relationship or not threaten to throw me out on the streets just because he was mad. And he never would agree to this simple request. Narcissists truly see no value in other people other than what they can get from them or what other people can do for them. They do value money and material wealth because this does make them feel powerful. Look, when I left the narcissist, I knew that he would seek out new supply with money, someone with property or assets that he could get his hands on. And lo and behold, that's exactly what he did. See, once you get to know them and you figure out how they work, they're easy to predict. So the new supply will experience a different kind of financial abuse than what I experienced. He can't threaten to kick her out because he's living in her home. So in this way, narcissists abuse their victims financially by taking from them. When the victim has the money, the narcissist will beg, borrow, or steal, or all three. They still feel entitled, and they feel entitled to the victim's money and their assets. Some even gain control over their victim's own finances. With a narcissist, their money is theirs, and your money is ours. And like any other form of abuse, financial abuse does not get better over time. Typically, it escalates. Financial abuse can be devastating to the victim. Those who enter the relationship with a narcissist who have money often find themselves in dire straits by the time the relationship ends. Those who are financially dependent upon the narcissist often find themselves trapped, as I did. Breaking free from financial abuse is difficult. It's just as difficult as breaking free from the emotional, verbal, and mental abuse. Let's face it, we all need money to survive in this world. And the narcissist aims to control the victim's ability to survive. If you're experiencing financial abuse, reach out to a qualified counselor or a therapist in your area who can help guide you through this. It's not easy, and everyone's circumstances are different. Resources vary from state to state. Professional counselors in your area can direct you to the appropriate agencies that offer assistance and support to victims. Some of these agencies will actually give you money to help you relocate. Again, this varies depending on where you live. Look, where there's a will, there's a way. And although it's tough and it's scary, you can get through this as well. You are far more resilient than you think. If you found the strength and the courage to leave the abuser, you have what it takes to get through this, and you absolutely can recover from financial abuse. Thank you all for taking the time to listen, and may you have a blessed day.